NFL game tonight because we're local. We're in Sasky, right? We know what you want to hear. So we are going to talk about our Saskatchewan Roughriders. We're going to hear from Trevor Harris talking a bit here. Interesting interview Dave Thomas did today with Jaden Dalkey. Because if you listened to the show yesterday, it was the interesting turn of events where he went to the hospital and then he came back. So it sounds like he went and got a little CT scan during the game. Interested to hear that story. I haven't heard it yet. We'll hear it together for the first time. Also, Joe is going to talk about his NFL experience and coming back to the CFL with us. Marshall Erichsen, new school record at the U of R last week, 4 tutties against Calgary. He's going to join us in hour 1. We'll talk a little Rams football, possibly a giveaway as well. That's a tease for you there. Like I said, Ryan Pollock in hour 2. Arash Madani is going to be here. We're supposed to have former NHLer Darcy Hordichuk in studio. That's right, the pugilist, the tough guy. Darcy Hordichuk, as his son is trying out for the Regina Pats. He's in town. Should be some fun with Darcy there. Glen Suitor in hour 3. And Prairie Golf Gems is back today. We're going to look at the Harbor Golf Course. Nice track. Looked at it on the website. So a lot to get to today. Some fun. Are we playing Pick the Score today, Colson, as well? There you go. I usually like to wait. We're playing Pick the Score. You can let us know anytime what you think the score is this weekend. 936-6262. That is the Prairieland Rentals text line. We like you engaging there. Prairieland Rentals, 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner, anything you need to rent. And also, they are a Husqvarna dealer if you're looking to buy here as we get into the late summer, fall project season. 936-6262. We always welcome your comments. And there was a few yesterday I didn't get to. So you send them in again. There was about Brett Lawther. There was a couple on the Riders shutting down the run in Winnipeg. Let them fly. I'll try and read as many as I could. Keep them short, though, right? Colson says, what's up?
Roscoe's already texted in. So if you haven't figured it out yet, I also do the Rider broadcast. So I'm here for the Rough Rider broadcast. So if you're a fan of the Cage and you listen to the broadcast, you can text in and I'll see your text. Roscoe's figured that out. And he's been texting me his game day meals. It looks like Roscoe just got a smoker for game day this Saturday.
He's entered the smoker game, has he?
Yeah. So he's just shot us a text saying changing the cooking program for game day Saturday. So,
and here come the Labor Day rematch scores. Whoa, people are. What's the forecast? What's the forecast in Winnipeg on Saturday? Some people are picking low scoring games out of the gate on this Thursday. Thursday is always for Access Communications. All of our guests join us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Look outside. It ain't beauty. You don't want to be barbecuing tonight unless you're a trooper. Pick up some Western Pizza, perfect pizza, all the generous toppings on top of that, and then the Greek food you love, souvlaki, ribs, salad. I'm getting hungry, I know. Visit your local Western Pizza today because it's NFL Thursday, the opener, Dallas and Philly. Now, the question I have, too, on the Prairieland Rentals text line, I want to hear from you Cowboy fans, or if you know Cowboy fans. I know a number of Cowboy fans. Some of them might be listening. Luke Mullender's a Cowboy fan, and Dave Thomas, the play-by-play team. Dallas Cowboy fans. What are you honestly thinking about this season, Cowboy fans, if you want? And then for the rest of us, what are Cowboy similarities? Who are Cowboy fans? What are they like? Are Cowboy fans very similar to Toronto Maple Leaf fans? The Cowboys won in the 90s. I'm on that documentary on Netflix. It slaps, as the kids say. But I'm just watching it because it was so wild what they did in the 90s, then how it fell apart. I'm just getting to the fall apart. The Michael Irvin, totally forgot about all that. That guy was in hot water and he got out of it. But Cowboy fans, so you won in the 90s. I guess there was the Tom Landry wins there too. And then Leaf fans haven't won since 60, what is it?
It's been a long time.
Forever. Bill Barilko disappeared. I are they kind of the same? Cowboy fans and Leaf fans? Or Cowboy fans like somebody else? I'm a Patriots fan. I'm not delusional. I know the Patriots aren't going to win the Super Bowl this year. I knew they weren't going to win last year or the year before. So I'm realistic on that. Do Cowboy fans really think they're going to have a good squad this year? They're in a tough division. They're in a tough conference. Who are they? What are the similarities there?
It's been since 67 for the Leafs.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Bit longer.
That's a long time. And Leaf fans, you ain't winning it next year, right? You got rid of Marner. Bruce Boudreau was here last week. He went down that rabbit hole. He actually went down it at the Royal Dinner. Well, how the Leafs are really going to miss Mitch Marner. He's a good player. Yeah, but I want to know, Cowboy fans, how you feeling? And if you know Cowboy fans, you can take a shot. Maybe I'll read it as well. It's windy out there today. Like, it is gross. What are we, gusting to 85? Shout out to all the kids that have to play high school football today, or the kids that have to practice because they're going to play tomorrow. We had Friday Night Lights yesterday on the show. We teed up. We talked to head coach of Southie and QPAR's team. Tonight in Regina, Balfour Johnson, 5:15 at Leibel. Winston Noel Campbell, 7:30 at Leibel. O'Neill, Sheldon Williams, 5:15 at Mosaic. Tom and Martin Luther, the late game under the bulbs at Mosaic, 7:30.
You remember when Luther and Martin first joined forces and they intentionally called them the Luther Martin team? And I'm like, why are you doing that? Everyone's just going to call them Martin Luther. Just accept it. Just flip it around. And then they did that next year.
Is that what happened?
That's what I remember happening, because I was like, why are you doing this? Everyone's just going to call you Martin Luther. Just accept it. But as far as wind goes, coming from the northwest, 40 kilometers an hour, gusting to 57. And Winnipeg on Saturday, high of 16. Sunny. So not amazing weather, but not terrible.
So, say the Winnipeg again.
High of 16 and sunny.
Does it have the wind?
It doesn't have it in the future forecast.
Okay, there you go. If you're playing pick the score, take that into consideration. How would that have been for our friend Brett Law today, and Campbell Fair kicking field goals? I would think that they were outside kicking. I was talking to Greggy from Wheaton Kia. I drove away. Heads up on footballs coming down Elphinstone. You know, if they're going to really lay into one, it was gross, windy. Mm-hmm. If you're not really gauging things, and if you're struggling, it's like you're golfing. If you're struggling with your golf swing and you're trying to go play today, that's a tough one. The other thing, though, kids just have a different temperature gauge. Like today, shorts everywhere.
There's some kids still rocking sandals and shorts right now.
Oh, yeah. No, they don't give a rip. So the kids that are practicing out there, football, whatever sport you're practicing out there today, it's not pleasant. Tomorrow, high school football. I just found this out today. Buddy Robbie Peterson let me know because his kid's playing at Miller. Regina, and a lot of you out there played in Regina, the big schools in Regina and Saskatoon are playing against each other. Tomorrow in Saskatoon, and then next year they're going to do it in Regina, allegedly. It'd be funny if Saskatoon says they're not coming next year. So Riffle's going up to Bethlehem to play Bethlehem School in Saskatoon. I know there's people are joking about. Riffle's going to play Bethlehem tomorrow. Leboldus is going to play Saskatoon Centennial, and Miller, the late game, plays St. Joe's. That'll be that's a really good idea. It'll be a great watch. It's all at Gordie Howe Bowl. I think it's known as Saskatoon Minor Football Field. It'll always be Gordie Howe Bowl to me. So that's tomorrow. But tonight they're starting, like I said, at Leibel and Mosaic Stadium. Riders were practicing today in this weather. People are messaging in on the weather here. Trevor Harris. about film work. The balance between analyzing last week and anticipating what those darn Blue Bombers are going to do this week.
You watch it the same you do the other films. You want to comb back through the games they played previously and maybe even games prior to that and how they kind of adjusted and how they've kind of maybe evolved as a defense, what kind of different looks they gave us and how they wanted to play us. And then, there's certain personnels that are going to change, certain things. With Cramdy out last week, if he's back, we know that, that changes the people where they're at in the defense. And so you kind of just do your best you can to just watch each and every clip you can and kind of just roll it out there and see what happens.
Also, Harris, on how much continuity and communication help combat what's going to be a loud stadium.
I think so. I think, experience in that and, being able to kind of not have a moment be too big. And we've got a bunch of guys, like I kind of was preaching from the last year after we, took a loss in the West Final, was continuity is a very, very big strength in this league in terms of, team football where you know each other and you can kind of, lock arms with guys you've kind of been to battle with before. And so I think it's been good for us so far, but I think now's the time where that continuity kind of starts to take off and hopefully we take it to another level.
Trevor P. in Regina is playing the role of our meteorologist today as well. He's saying, really windy today in Regina. Not a lot gets by you, Trev. Winnipeg gets weather from Regina usually a couple days later. Usually, I would agree with that. So I'm guessing the run game will be extremely important. Hart wants Riders to win, even though my head says Bombers will. And then he does his pick the score. See, I like that. Nice quick little comment. And then pick the score from Trevor P. Run game, high school football tonight. Run games will be important. They always are in high school football. And then the Rams tomorrow and University of Alberta at Liable Field. If it stays as windy as it says it is, run games will be important there, which I think we're okay with the U of R Rams. Marshall Erichsen, 4 touchdowns last week. That offensive line. We're going to talk to him in a bit. I'm going to let him do some name dropping and ask him about the offensive line. So that'll be a good one too. And then Saturday, just great time for football because it's the Thunder and Hilltops at Mosaic Stadium. If you've never gone to a junior football game, this is a good one to go to. There is no doubt about it. You should be thoroughly entertained. Cole in North Dakota messaging in. This year would be great with a Riders Grey Cup and a Packers Lombardi Trophy win. So I take it you're a Green Bay fan, Cole. Cole, text in if you want to take a shot at Cowboy fans. They start tonight against Philly. The other thing too, Sports Select line, I took it. I had to. I'll be honest. I'll let you all know out there. Dallas. Sorry, I took Philly -8.5. I also separate. I took the under 48.5. That one scares me. And is this a weird NFL game where all of a sudden the Cowboys do something crazy, they keep it close, they might win?
Didn't they put up 45 on somebody last year at one point?
Can't talk about last year.
I know. I'm just saying.
Gotta live in the now, Colson. I was 8 pounds lighter last year. Kansas City Chiefs and LA are tomorrow in Brazil. And so if you don't have to. This is what I went Sports Select all 3 game. So I went the cover there with Philly. I went the Chargers to cover 3 points. So they can lose by 2. We're still good there. And then this is the one that I don't know. I took BC -6.5 and a 3-gamer. Lions, Ottawa tomorrow night.
It's Ottawa. So same as Dallas. What team's going to show up?
And it's in Ottawa. That ruckus crowd of Ottawa. Elbows up. So that was my 3-gamer on Sports Select today. I haven't touched the Rider game yet. If you're texting in and playing Pick the Score, and you're sprinkling as well, let me know what you're thinking on the Rider game. Before 5 o'clock today, too, if you're not in the auto renewal for the Rough Rider Foundation 50/50, buy it before 5 o'clock today at riders5050.ca. It'll be a nice one again, even though it's a road game. I don't think it's going to be just shy of 1.5 million like last week. Cole, North Dakota, that would be like, a few $100,000 for you. But it was just under 1.5 million up here. Riders5050.ca. And then the early bird prize, get your name in this. Mexico all-inclusive, 5-star resort. Package for 2, 7 nights, flights, transfers. And if you don't want to go to Mexico, if you're anti-Mexico right now, $5,400 cash. Riders5050.ca before 5 o'clock. So there's some housekeeping. Get done. I'm really curious on this story. Let's get into this. Dave Thomas did this one for us today. Jayden Dalkey rushed to the hospital in the middle of the Labor Day Classic. That's the rumor that was going around. Let's get the skinny here from Dave and Jayden.
Jayden Dalkey, we started last week's ball game talking about memories being made during the Labor Day Classic. You had one heck of a memory when you went down on a kick return covered
kickoff, yeah.
Can you tell me how this entire story went from the time that you went down until when you went back into the game?
Yeah, so went down, got blocked in the back, I hit awkwardly off the turf, and it was on kickoff, so I was going pretty quick, and then didn't really know what happened, got up, started turning around try to get back into play, and then all of a sudden it was just like numb through my arm, and it was a burning sensation through my neck. And so we finally got assessed. We did some strength tests with the docs in the tent, and they were feeling around on some vertebrae, and that was painful, so they had to do preventative CT scan. So tent went down, gave the thumbs up to my mom, and then we walked underneath into the locker room where they put a Q collar on, or not Q collar, but a neck collar on, and then left my helmet in my locker, and Doc and I just had to run over to the hospital. Luckily, he pulled some strings, knew some people, and it wasn't too busy, so we got in and out less than 20 minutes, and then came back. I saw a bunch of the guys all just leaving out of the locker room for the second half. We had to wait until I got my CT scan back. It got cleared. I was able to take the brace off, and then I was ready to return.
That's a story, but that's a lot of emotion that's going on in your mind, isn't it? From, what's going on here, to, hey, I got to get back and win a Labor Day Classic?
It was initially I didn't think it was going to be very serious, so I was definitely surprised when he said that we're going to have to put a collar on you. That's a first for me. But then he followed it up pretty quickly with but if everything comes back good, you're able to go back. So it wasn't a huge dip, and then again, I was kind of concerned with when he's yeah, we have to put a collar on. Do you want to do it out on the sideline or underneath? And so yeah, obviously the answer would be not to do it in front of everybody, teammates, family, fans, everything. So just try to keep that away. And then for me it was just keeping. I felt like I was going to be coming back, so I was trying to stay locked in, watching the game in the locker room and see how the flow of the game's going, and then so hopefully there's no fall off when I came back in.
You talk about family and friends. That's got to be, a big thing for them too, to see their son or your friend down on the turf and getting that thumbs up before you went. That must have maybe been a sigh of relief for them.
Yeah. My mom was just okay, well, everything's, I talked to her about it after. She's well, everything's good. He already gave me a thumbs up. So I was yeah, we'll keep this to a minimum. I'm not going to be kind of say I'm down or I'm out. So, because, stay positive. And they, because they actually had missed, it was just too much chaos on the kickoff, so they missed what happened, so they were confused, but I didn't want them to be confused and then very overly worried. So.
And you got right back on the field. I don't know if you want to use, you're an Alberta guy. Would you want to use that old analogy? You get right back on the horse. Is that the way you looked at it?
Oh yeah, I was hoping that as soon as I got the clearance, like I was just like, all right, doc already said I was good. Like obviously I'm good for everything. And then trainers and coaches were just like, well, we know where we want to use you, and we got some other guys that we already subbed in, so we'll keep those ones in there. But I was ready to go play every position I was supposed to be at. So. But, yeah.
You transformed your body in the offseason when you made the move to the linebacking core. Is that helped? Has that changed anything at all?
I think it's helped in transitioning to linebacker for sure, but it's definitely also very beneficial on special teams, like what I'm asked to do. So maybe need some more neck strengthening, and maybe someday you'll see me in a big cowboy collar or something like that. True dirty linebacker.
Well, congratulations on truly making a Labor Day memory.
Thank you.
No doubt. When's the last time you went to a hospital in Saskatchewan and it hasn't been busy? You got in and out quick like that?
I haven't.
I don't know anybody that did.
Yeah.
I talked to a buddy today that his kid broke his, right before hockey tryouts, knock on wood, all you parents out there. He broke his wrist and arm, poor kid, and they went to the hospital in St. Albert, I don't know, wherever that would be. They went in at 9 p.m., and they got home at 4:45 in the morning.
Oof.
What did Alberta pay for transfer payments last? Like $25 billion? Man, that is a long time. And I think last year, young Brady Haroff in Winnipeg broke his arm in our game. And they went to the hospital 10, 11 p.m. at night, and they didn't get back to the hotel till like 5, 6 in the morning. Jeez. So, Jaden, Dalk, it's good to know, guys and girls out there. Hey, use what you got in life, right? For sure. Really interesting. Talk about a Labor Day memory there. We're streaming at sportscage.com through our YouTube channel. Colson appreciates the likes from everybody out there. Colson appreciate that. Sastel picked the score. Keep them coming. 936-6262. When we come back, we're going to chat a little bit more. Let's hear from you, Cowboy fans. Is this your year? Almost a straight face. And we're going to hear from a Joe who's back from NFL camp with our Riders. We are on the home of the green and white, 620 CKRM. Welcome back on this breezy Thursday in downtown Regina. It's for Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Colson's with me. Ryan Pollock's going to join in a bit. High school football players tonight, wear some sleeves, unless you're just tough. Text line, I love it. Cole from North Dakota says he's been sending some of his Cowboy friends the new Micah Parsons jersey that they should buy. They didn't agree. Yeah, you have so many chirps to go with right now. You know the other thing, you don't play fantasy football, do you, Colson? Do you? Yeah. I know. I was talking to, who was it? Oh, Greg yesterday, Piffles Podcast. He's in like 3.
Yeah, I'm not in 3, no.
I am definitely in the minority. I do not play fantasy football. I think I tried once years ago. I'm forgetful. We got to put guys in and out and make trades, and I picked my team awful. Yeah, we stunk. I don't play it. I know a lot of guys do, though.
Yeah.
Girls.
Yeah, fantasy football's the one if you lack the attention span, though, because
That's me.
Yeah, because on Wednesday, Thursday, you double-check your teams, double-check your players, set your guys, probably double-check Sunday morning. You only really have 2 days then that you're really kind of having to put attention and effort into it, whereas hockey or basketball, there's games every day, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I did the hockey one too. Not for this cat. Do you have a name for your fantasy football team?
Yeah, I have to remember it.
Coulson's?
No.
No?
No, all of us try and come up with clever names. I honestly think I just Googled mine and was just like, hey, what's a funny name that I can throw in?
Vandelay Industries. No?
No, I'm waiting on it loading here. Let's see.
Should know the name of your team.
Yeah, probably. Josh Jacobs Jingleheimer Schmidt.
All right. All right. Maybe that's a topic for one day. Wild and crazy fantasy football.
There's a few
names.
good ones out there.
Glenn in Regina thinks that the Cowboys pull the upset off tonight. You have to be a Cowboys fan to say that. Now, can they do it? For sure. 8.5 points. That means the really smart guys and girls that set the lines are way out to lunch, which they never are. So if Cowboys win that game tonight, sports books would be just buzzsaw down in Vegas tonight. The Riders came out with the injury report and game status coming up in Winnipeg. Sean Bain Jr. available. Antoine Brooks Jr. available. Jack Cohn available. Jackson Ford, questionable. And Mitch Picton is available. Nothing on the kicking game. It would have been, if you were in Regina or in and around, I think anywhere in Saskatchewan. I talked to a guy that was supposed to golf in, Sean Steffen someone was supposed to go golfing in Waskesiu today, and it was like 66K winds, which for up north is really windy. So it would have been an awful day to kick. I just think, I don't have any inside baseball here. I don't know anything else. I think they give Campbell Fair the kicking job in Winnipeg this weekend. That's just me, I think. And we'll see what happens there. Now, Joe's back. He's going to be in the lineup. We saw how excited he got last week on the convert and all that. Dave Thomas today caught up with Joe on his NFL experience and coming back to the Canadian League.
I was going to do Rider Nation or something like that, but Joe, I wouldn't nail it. So what's it like being back?
Hey, man, there's no words to explain it, man. The feeling is I say surreal a lot, but even that, it doesn't define it, man. It's amazing. It's amazing to be back in an organization in a city that just loves this team so much. You know what I mean? Like, man, it's great. It's great to be back.
You were kind enough to take some time for the Sports Cage when you were down in Indianapolis, taking us through your journey.
Yes, sir.
As you look back, even though it's still fresh, when you look back at that journey, what was it like? How would you explain it and describe it?
Simple as a dream come true, to have an opportunity to put an NFL jersey on and walk in an NFL facility and go through meetings and just, just soak it all up, you know what I mean? Like, this is what you've been dreaming for since you was 5 years old, 6 years old, and now it's here and you're living it. It's unreal. It's unreal.
You and I had a conversation last year right after your first regular season game with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and you told me when I asked you about a welcome to the CFL moment, you said, well, I went out and I laid a block, and that was it. I was in.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a welcome to the NFL moment?
I did indeed. I ran a shallow, actually, and Riley Leonard threw me the ball, and one of our linebackers came down and popped me, just absolutely. Yeah, but I got right back up. I was like, hey, okay, we playing football now. We playing football, yeah. So,
other CFL players that have gone from the CFL to try their shot at the NFL have transformed their body or changed themselves. Did you?
I would say, I was always a bigger guy, but, now it's just like I finally learned how to move in this big body, you know what I mean? Not saying that I couldn't before, but I feel more comfortable now, So, yeah, I guess so.
Obviously, all of Rider Nation was cheering for you down there. Did you feel that from not only the fans, but even your teammates?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Guys would check on me every week, like some of the guys that I'm closer with, like Keyshawn and them, the receivers, obviously, they like, hey, man, do your thing this game. You know what I mean? Cheering me on, supporting me. But even if I just look at my DMs, there's so many, like, Rider Nation fans just, hey, I'm sad that you're away, but go kill it down there, just it's different. It's different. It's completely different, yeah.
One of your teammates said that once you've learned a playbook once, learning a different playbook the second time around is a little easier. A third one's a little easier. A fourth one's a little easier. True?
Oh, yeah, very true, very true. Like, I give kudos to Mark Mueller and the offensive staff for surely getting me situated and getting me right before I went down to Indy, just learning the Rider playbook first and just the nuances and the details of that and applying that to learning the playbook down south, you know what I mean? And then I learned even more while I was down south and how to learn a playbook and then to come up here and apply that again, you know what I mean, to a playbook I'm already familiar with, but now I'm looking at all the little details and, just fine-tuning, yeah.
You talked to us about how you didn't get that start ahead of the snap down in the NFL. You had to adjust to those one-on-one battles. Yeah. How big were you smiling when you had a chance to run the waggle here against Winnipeg?
I was like, hey, let's work. No, I was scared. You could tell they was backing up. I was like, hey, I like this. 15-yard head start, big as I am, it's fun. It's real fun, yeah.
Were you surprised that you got into the game on Sunday?
No, I wasn't surprised. Actually, I was, but I wasn't because I knew that I could help, you know what I mean? So I was surprised that, that with two practices that the coaching staff had faith in me to help our guys get the dub, but, it was nice. I was, I'm happy. I want to play football, so.
That 2-point convert, you showed off to Rider Nation that you were pretty happy on a pretty nice road.
Oh, yeah. That was it was fun, man. It was great. It was great to be back. Great to get a crowd pop. Oh my goodness, sold out Mosaic. Ooh, that was awesome. Yeah.
Juice is still flowing for the rematch this weekend.
For surely. It's been we know they're gonna be a tough opponent again, as they always are. But we're gonna go in, head down, windows up, and just keep going.
You watched this team from afar before rejoining it. What did you see and what can you bring?
I saw that these guys are fighters. They are fighters. They're going to fight till the end, regardless of the outcome. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm the same way. When adversity hits, be resilient. Come back even harder. You take a step back, 3 steps forward. You fall down 5 times, you get up 6, So I feel like we got the same mentality in that sense. Yeah.
On behalf of Rider Nation, welcome back. Can't wait to see you on the field.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what a dude. What a good guy, Joe. Gave us time when he was down there, like Dave said. Proud to have him back. Watch him just open up. Saturday in Winnipeg. Let's go, Joe. Yeah, the rematch. Pick the score. I don't know where these people are getting. I don't know why you guys are going low today. People are really picking some low scores Saturday in Winnipeg, 936-62-62. When we come back, we are going to talk Rams football. We're going to talk to Mr. 4-touchdown, Marshall Erichsen from the U of R Rams. It's the Sports Cage. We're the home of the Riders. We're the home of local sports in Saskatchewan. Streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. Welcome back to the Sports Cage. We are giving away another Rams prize pack. These have been hot, to say the least. 2 tickets to the game Friday night. That's tomorrow at Leibel Field. It's the home opener against the Alberta Golden Bears. Then you get 2 Youth Ram hoodies. Now, I looked. They're Youth Extra Larges. So if you're a smaller adult, you can definitely get into. These are the 22 Fresh hoodies, too. These aren't, some knockoff things that you'd find down at some discount outfit. They're solid hoodies. And then 2 water bottles. Okay, so 936-6262. You just got to text in the keyword Rams to that, and then you'll be in to win again. And Colson says your name is always good if you want to actually come pick it up and win. Let's go to the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza, generous amount of toppings, all the Greek favorites you love. It's just the perfect night. It's raining. There's football. NFL's back. Get some Western Pizza in you tonight. Marshall Erichsen is joining us from the U of R Rams. Marshall, thanks for taking time on this busy day. I know you got school going and all that, but let's go through the game in Calgary, right? You have a day probably kind of if you would have drew it up, it would have been the first game that you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good start to the year, I'd say. Yeah.
What goes right in that game for you? This is where you can kind of plug your offensive line and all the guys that are blocking and doing that. What goes right in that game?
I think we went into the game saying that we wanted to do what we know we can do well and do it until we can't anymore, right? So we knew we trusted our big O lineman up there, and we had these plays where we could do them. We knew them like the back of our hand, obviously. So we trusted the O-line, and it just worked for us.
The new school record, for you. It says 4 touchdowns, 4 tutties. Did you have any goals going into the season as a veteran on this team?
Obviously, I had some personal goals like being an All-Star, Canada West All-Star, All-Canadian, trying to crack those levels of my collegiate career. But I haven't really been thinking about it too much. I kind of just am focusing on the season as a whole, like getting back to the Hardy Cup. Vanny is here. That's obviously the biggest goal for me and for everyone on this team.
The West, we saw, you see it first week, UBC doing their thing against Manitoba, Alberta giving a game against Saskatchewan, and then Calgary coming back, making it tough for you guys. The West, would expect nothing less, that it's just going to be a dogfight every week.
Yeah, it's always a dogfight. You never know what a team is going to bring until you're there. I've been playing for this is my 3rd season now, and I've been in some games. Like you can never anticipate what's going to happen on any given week. So you got to prepare like that. You got to prepare like you're playing the best team that you could possibly be playing again, because anything could happen.
Speaking of that, let's go through the last, 6 seconds in that game in Calgary. I'm 48. Been around football a long time. A lot of people out there been around football. You've been around football a long time. I've never seen that, where a team's down 9 and they can tie it up. How do you put that into words, what you were feeling on the sideline?
Honestly, I was pretty calm. I knew the situation and what was going to happen. I knew that they scored. They're going to go for 2, obviously, and they're going to try and go for the Rouge. But how it all played out was a little bit of a, miscommunication. I was trying to stop the Rouge from happening, and it just came up short. But that's the crazy thing about Canadian football, man. Like, it can just happen like so fast.
What do you do different next time?
I think I line up at the back of the end zone, and I think either way he tries to kick it away from me, but at least then I know where I need to defend. I can maybe try and get there a little sooner than I did, but I think that's the one thing I'd do differently.
If nothing else, you guys get the win, right? That's the main thing. You get the win, but if nothing else, you have a story for the rest of your life, for whether it's kids, grandkids, coaching, whatever you're doing. I've never seen it. It was wild stuff. What are you guys expecting? You mentioned the dogfight and all that, but specifically for you running the ball, what are you expecting against the Alberta defense?
Alberta defense is a fast motor team. They're hard hitting. They like to send pressure a lot. So, we're preparing for that. I think we have a good game plan in place on how we can exploit some of the things that they do. And it's all going to come down to, who wants it more every play, play after play. Because, they're a well-coached and strong, hard, fast-hitting team. So, we have to match that intensity and maybe raise the bar 1 or 2 notches so we can win this game. It's
not played today. It's gross out there today, but it is supposed to be breezy again tomorrow. You're expecting to get the rock a bunch?
We'll see what the game plan is, how it's like tomorrow night. But if my number's called, I'll sure be ready for it. So.
Right on. It's exciting. We're only a game in. It's already awesome. Obviously, like you said, a big year for you guys. Thanks for taking time. I know you got to get to your economic development class. Is that what it is?
Developmental economics.
There we go. I had it backwards. Same thing. All right, Marshall. Best of luck tomorrow, and thanks for doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Right on. Marshall Erichsen from the U of R Rams. That's tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Leibel Field, University of Alberta Golden Bears. Like you said, the defense is fast. There you go. 936-6262 if you want to be in to win 2 tickets to that game tomorrow night, 2 Youth Ram hoodies, and 2 Ram water bottles. It is a Sports Cage. We are the home of local sports and the Regina Rams right here on 620 CKRM. Riders were back on the practice field today, getting ready for their big return contest with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. No word on the kicking game. As for the injury report, looks like Jackson Ford is now questionable. Blue Jays are off today. They start a massive series with the New York Yankees tomorrow. There's some high school football in Regina. Balfour's at Johnson, 5:15 at Leibel. Winston Noel Campbell, 7:30 at Leibel. Then we got O'Neill, Sheldon Williams, 5:15 at Mosaic. And then Tom and Martin Luther, 7:30 at Mosaic Stadium. In hour one, the sports ticker is for Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals, keeping you in hot and soft water. Call on Reliance. Hour two is coming up. Arash Madani is going to be with me. Ryan Pollock's coming in. It is the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Good Thursday to you. Thanks for making some time. We're into hour two here for Access Communications. Thanks to Marshall Erichsen making some time for the U of R Rams on the Western Pizza guest hotline as they get set to take on Alberta tomorrow. We are giving away that prize pack. We'll do that for the next hour here if you want to be in. We got 2 tickets to the game tomorrow night at Leibel. Dress warm. Hot chocolate and a blanket. It's hailing outside right now here. 7 p.m. Leibel. 2 Youth Ram hoodies from 22 Fresh. A Sharp hoodie. And they're Youth XL. So if you're smaller adult, you'll be able to fit into them. And 2 water bottles. 936-6262. Just say Rams. Keyword is Rams. It's also the Prairie Land Rentals text line if you want to chime in. If you have any comments on things. Cowboy fans, let's hear from you. This is your year. Let's hear from you, Cowboy fans, as you open things up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Ryan Pollock's joining me now. I said he's going to be here for hour 2 and 3. Also the general manager of the Royal Regina Golf Course. A lot of people swinging the clubs out there today?
No, there was the option taken for a lot of guys today, understandably, but there were still some players out there, especially early this morning, maybe trying to beat the day, but that rain rolled around, and on top of the wind and cold, it was a pretty quiet day out at the golf course.
Yeah, we got hail in downtown Regina right now and rain. It's an interesting night. Thursday night football.
That's right.
Order a Western wheel. Sit back and watch. So I did a little Sports Select, and Arash is probably on the line here. He's listening to this. Little Sports Select 3-game parlay.
Yep.
Eagles to cover. 8.5. It's a big number.
Ooh, yep.
Chargers to cover tomorrow. 3 is the dog. And then for some reason 6.5 BC Lions to cover against Ottawa. So I don't know, and I love the paper ticket on Sports Select. Let's go find out what Arash is thinking on this Thursday with a little coast to coast.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Yeah, Arash, you hit good weather last week. Or last 2 days, it's been windy, it's been chilly. These kids are playing high school football tonight. Do your boys play in the RMF tonight?
No, we have practice. Right, I'll be heading straight to the practice field after this. But yeah, those kids that are out playing the game tonight isn't going to be very fun.
You remember Regina for what we had last week, Arash,
yes,
okay?
Yes, very hot. Here's a question for you. Would the Bombers have run the football more than 5 times if it was hailing and coming down sideways?
Yeah.
So is that the only reason they didn't run?
Because it was warm? Because it was nice?
Yeah.
NFL
Coaching
begins tonight.
malpractice.
That's right. That's right.
Coaching malpractice.
The biggest television show in the world starts tonight, Thursday. I don't know if there's any outlets competing with it. It's like, just let them have it. NFL, just more and more.
It's amazing, isn't it, guys? Like, it's Thursday and Friday and then
Christmas Day.
Christmas. But then I think it was last year that Kansas City played every night but Tuesday, or every day of the week but Tuesday, or something like that. And I actually wonder, can there be such a thing as too much? I don't know about you. I really kind of detached myself from the NFL machine through training camp and the preseason. I think I followed it less this year than ever before. Now, it's going to start again tonight. I'm going to be fully in, all those kinds of things. But it almost, to me, feels like it's almost been a little overkill. There's too much all the time. And I've kind of unplugged since the draft ended. I won't lie.
I don't know. You know what I hear a lot? You know what I hear a lot of people talking about is the changes to the red zone. That seems to be a
commercials now.
Right.
Yeah, commercial-free football. Scott Hansen, a double box. We're going to a double. Now, that whole defeats things. I guess ESPN knows a machine, so.
Yeah. The other thing that I really don't need to hear about, and anywhere you go, it feels like everybody wants to tell you who they drafted on their fantasy team. I don't care. I don't care what your newborn did in their diaper last night, and I don't care about your fantasy football draft. Okay? That's all. I need to get that off my chest.
I don't play fantasy. You don't.
I'd support that notion.
And I feel when guys get talking about it, I just kind of do the Homer Simpson back into the bush thing, because I'm like, I got nothing. But I'll watch it. I'll play. There'll be props. There'll be everything tonight. Are the Eagles, as they raise the banner tonight, are the Eagles the team to beat, do you think?
Yes, they're the defending champs. Yes, Jalen Hurts is back. Yes, Saquon's still in the mix. Yes, there's A.J. Brown. Yes, Devontae Smith. Their offensive line is still pretty much the same. The only thing I wonder about, guys, is their pass rush has kind of gone separate ways. You know, Josh Sweat absolutely owned that Super Bowl last year. Josh Sweat is no longer with the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, obviously, every year teams dismantle, and they're never the same thing. I don't know what's going on with the sun here, by the way. I'm just going to open that up a little bit.
Don't tease us. Do you want me to show you the hail going on out here?
But I just wonder about that pass rush. Like, ultimately, you win at the line of scrimmage. You got to get to the quarterback. Can the Eagles do that? Brandon Graham is no longer there. That's the only thing that kind of gives me pause. But to me, Philadelphia, Baltimore are the two Super Bowl favorites for sure.
Yeah, across the field tonight, is there any chance the Cowboys have any hope of moving forward or doing anything with Jerry Jones in the mix as owner, GM, ATOL, pilot?
Yeah, pilot, sure. While they're at it, I mean, is he going to be the chef too? Guys, I think the stat that stands out the most, maybe in all of football actually, is that when the Cowboys don't reach the NFC Championship game this year, it'll be 30 years since they were last in a conference title game.
Does that make you feel old? Everyone who feels old, put up your hand.
Yeah. Right. You know, Emmitt Smith isn't walking through that door. Troy Aikman isn't walking through that door. Michael Irvin's not walking through that door. And there's literally only two common denominators. Mm-hmm. One is the star on the helmet, and two is Jerry Jones. That's it. They've changed stadiums. They've changed, I don't know how many coaches, how many quarterbacks, how many da-da-da-da-da-da. And I don't know, like, Are they a playoff team even this year?
I don't think so. But then again, I'm not like super in tune with everything. I'm no expert. We aren't the official station of the NFL, but we like to talk about it. Yeah. Not with that attitude, Barney. The thing about, again, I watched another episode of the Netflix documentary on the Cowboys. If you haven't watched it, it is awesome. I totally forgot how deep hot water Michael Irvin was, for starters. And the other thing that I'm really starting to gather, besides that Jerry Jones is a gambler of just everything in life, right? And then you win and you lose. You're a gambler. Is he gets too attached to the players, and he's the guy signing the check. Maybe that's his, problem. I don't know.
The other thing, though, Barney, is he waits too long before he gives contracts out and extends guys. Like last year on opening day, it was when they gave Dak Prescott the money. Like you will never get a discount on a quarterback. And there's some Trump in Jerry Jones in that he wants to win every deal. He fancies himself as this master negotiator that every single deal he's going to win and he has to win.
He's a gambler.
Right, but 30 straight years of hitting on, pocket kings looking for that ace.
I'm going to get that ace, Arash. I'm going to get that ace.
Jerry, we got a seat and all the caviar you want,
Yeah. Interesting news out of Toronto. You texted me this morning. Argos and the Buffalo Bills are teaming up for a youth football initiative.
I'm very interested about this. Okay, so why? MLSE, Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment, the closest thing that they have to anything remotely of interest, air quotes, in football is their ownership of the Argos. They have no investment in any way with the NFL. It is the NFL is not coming to Canada in our lifetime. Hot take, but truth.
Saskatoon. There's people in Saskatoon that think they can have an NFL team.
And the parent company of MLSE, Rogers, there's no interest there for an NFL team. And Sportsnet doesn't have the NFL rights. TSN does, and CTV does, and Bell Media does. So Keith Pelly runs MLSE. He's always been interested in the NFL. Part of this, I'm told, is a marketing play. Makes a lot of sense. Doug Flutie's a former Bill, and Doug Flutie's a former Argo, and football. The Bills certainly want the Southwestern Ontario market represented at their games. They've been doing everything possible to make that happen. They're going into a new stadium, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just a little confused where the MLSE Rogers play is in all of this football. Marketing is one thing, but this is another. Now, that said, very minority owners of the Bills include Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Josie Altidore.
Yep.
McGrady and Vince Carter, of course, former Raptors. Josie Altidore won a championship with Toronto FC. Could there be some ways to get Josh Allen sitting courtside on a Thursday night, Friday night at a Raptors game before a Sunday Bills game and, contest for tickets? Sure. But there just might be a little bit more to this, and I'm really intrigued as to what it could be.
I've heard ripples across the league that this is a real focus for the CFL teams to try and find these grassroots programs trying to grow football in their areas. But this is an interesting angle, an interesting connection there for sure, Arash. Good insight. Back to on-field, Labor Day rematch coming up this weekend in Winnipeg, rematch in Edmonton. But what's going on out east in the East Division here? After a bit of an up year last year, or it looked like a strong division, kind of faltered off in kind of their quality out east. What's going on out there?
Well, Montreal, look, injuries are injuries, but when you lose your quarterback, I think that's a big part of it.
Quarterbacks,
yeah,
plural. Toronto's a mess. Here's what's interesting, guys. You have the BC Lions, who I still haven't figured out 11 games into the season. After this week, they're going to be 2/3 the way through their schedule. BC's 4th in the West, which makes them 5-6, which would put them 2nd in the East. Are we going to have a scenario this season where the 4th place team in the West is going to have a better record than the best team in the East? Like, could that actually be possible? I think there's only one West team can cross over. I don't think 2 can. But it's weird. I get the Argos are, air quotes, hot right now, but I don't know. I don't think anybody in the East scares me, but then again, all it takes is one game in late November for that to change. I just can't remember it being this much of a disparity across the board.
Are you still, what are you hearing? And I know you've said this since May. We talked about it last week. Still odds on Chad Kelly not taking a snap this year?
I don't see it. I really don't see it. And especially with the way Arbuckle's playing lately.
Yeah.
Don't you roll with kind of the hot hand right now? Also, how long would it take Kelly to get going? Like, it took him 2 or 3 games last year. So the Argos have 6 games left. They're in a playoff hunt. Everything I was led to believe not now, not in June, not in April, not in March. When I was at Grey Cup last November, I was led to believe that is a 1-year recovery for the type of injury that Chad Kelly had, for the type of surgery he had. Like, they couldn't even get him on a plane for a while. So if he's your future, if he's your franchise quarterback, if he's all those things, is it really worth risking a major setback for a game or 2? I don't see it.
Okay, let's end on this for Blue Jay fans. How big is this series in the Bronx starting tomorrow? You know what I did hear, though? Because I'm so in tune with what's going on.
I can't wait to hear what you heard about the Blue Jays. I'll be honest,
right.
Barney.
I was talking to Buck on the phone.
Yeah.
No, but the Yankees are playing in Texas tonight. They'll be getting into New York like 3 or 4 in the morning, where the Blue Jays, the fellas, are in Lower Manhattan relaxing, going to the Mean Fiddler.
What's better?
Yeah. Taking it all in. So
quality meats.
Yeah.
Quality meat. I remember the night before Derek Jeter's last game in the Bronx. It was an off night. It was either a rain out or an off night. And went to a restaurant called Quality Meats, and half the Baltimore Orioles were at the steakhouse. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a per diem buster. So here's a question, dead serious on this.
Okay.
What's the bigger worry if you're a manager or a head coach of a team? The fact that your team's going to roll in at 3 a.m. and be a little groggy the next day? Or your team has a night off in New York City, the night of an NFL opener where it's still kind of summer in Manhattan?
That's a darn good question.
Relates right back to, do you fly to Montreal 2 days ahead to beat jet lag? Or do you just fly in the day before the game, get into the hotel?
Who is the receiver, Ryan, the rider receiver on an Ottawa road trip who found himself in a little bit of trouble on the Quebec side, the Gatineau side, leaving an adult establishment?
Taj.
There we go.
Hey, Gatineau, great. Do you want to go let those guys in, Colson? Sorry. Great casino.
Yep.
And that's where the Royal Montreal is. Or Royal Ottawa. Royal Ottawa is. Yeah. That's a really big series starting tomorrow.
3-game series, and the Jays have a 3.5 game lead on the Yankees. Like, here we go. Yeah. The Red Sox come to Toronto in a few weeks. Here we go. Right. Like, this is a pennant race. It's game on.
All right, buddy. Let's see how it all shakes down. We got football tonight. I'm sure I'll be texting you some screenshots of my wagers, and then we'll catch up next week.
Sounds good. Good to see you again, boys.
You betcha.
Coast to
Arash.
Coast with Arash Madani for Brian Golly, Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money, and you can call Brian 546-2533. It is a Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com. We're getting ready for Darcy Hordichuk to come in, and we're always on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. All right, clutch performer. We're going to Swift Current, Saskatchewan last night. So if you're watching the stream, Colson's going to pull it up here. Can I do my best Dante DeCaria? It's Liam Pugh over to Maddox Schultz, and that's a missile. That's what that is. Can we rewind that? It happens, honestly, so quick. It's on the power play. It was the only Pats goal. They lose 2-1. Maddox Schultz. Poor goalie's like, oh, yeah. Okay. That's our clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. Now in the studio live, a guy that was at the game in Swift Current, right? Yesterday,
yes, I was
Darcy
there.
Hordichuk watching his boy. What? Give us 30 seconds on the game. What was it like?
No, it was fun to watch. Obviously, Pugh and Schultz, the team's kind of building around those young core, and just to see those guys live is something special. And Braden got a couple shifts with Schultz, and I think he sauced it over 2 sticks, landed it on his stick for a breakaway, and Braden was all Swedish and no finish on that one, but he had a good couple good chances that game. I thought it was the best game he's played so far, and it's fun to see all these young guys come up.
Last year, Braden played Scottsdale.
Yes, yeah.
And then so he was up here last year too, getting a feel of things. More comfort this year, I would think.
Yeah, it was kind of weird last year because we had him coming into preseason to playing some games, but because he's a U.S. kid and was drafted in the USHL. Or in the U.S. draft, they wouldn't let him play for preseason. So this year, it's kind of fun. I feel like that's where he kind of brings his A game, is playing against other teams and not have to run his own players in camp. So it was a great game for him last night. I think he threw more hits in that game yesterday than probably 2 weeks of camp over the last 2 years. So this is what it's about. Now you kind of see where the boys separate themselves, and it's in preseason.
Is there any chance that he's a Regina Pat Canadian this year? Or?
I think with the way they do things, it just wouldn't work out for us because you have to have the residency here and you have to do all that stuff. But all he's focused on right now is making the Regina Pats and helping that team win.
Before we dive into some of your background and playing, maybe talk about how growing up in Phoenix was mainly club hockey for Braden. Was it more just like what we're used to as we grew up in Saskatchewan, kind of that not community but just organized hockey? How did he go through his journey to get here?
Well, as you know, it's just about ice time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got every NHL, I think, coach down there teaching these kids. You got Taylor Pyatt, you got Michael Grabner, you got Steve Sullivan, you got Shane Doan. So you look at some of the kids that are coming out of this. You look at Matthew Nyes came out of the program. You look at Austin Matthews. You look at Gorzinski just got drafted Barnhill. So there's a lot of good players. People are like, well, I don't know about, junior Coyote hockey, but they're producing a lot of players because at the end of the day, it's about ice time and about developing yourself. And, there's a lot more travel. We got to go and play in California. We got to play in Chicago. We got to play in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. We looked at the schedule. If he does go back this year, it's 12 tournaments across the country to play the best team. So, but, you look at our team. We went to Red Deer. We made some noise. We beat some of the top teams in Red Deer as a junior Coyote team, and that's how Braden got drafted so high. And I think they realize that, it's a different type of hockey in the U.S., but at the same time, we get a lot more ice time, and not maybe than Regina, but 90% of the places.
Yep. Watching camp, and you go back to, what was 95, 96, and 96, 97, your first dub camp, and you weren't afraid to shed the gloves. Just how different camps are. The kids as players too, but how different a dub camp is now.
It's so
what's a camp story too from you?
It's just night and day the difference. This is my camp story. I go and McCrimmon calls me, said, "This is your last chance to make the Saskatoon Blades. So here's the 3 guys you got to fight: Dallas Anderson, 6'5", Steve McIntyre, 6'4", farm boy from Saskatchewan, throws boy, both." And I'm like, oh, this is great. I fought him once, then I fought him again in the same one, and then the third time they were yelling, "That's it!" And they kept both of us to make the Saskatoon Blades, and then later traded Steve to Prince Albert. But I just told Brad, I said, dude, like, you know what it takes to get to the next level, and you're that kind of a Swiss Army knife. So if you got to fight in camp, and that's what you need to do to stick around, He goes, the problem is, Dad, nobody wants to fight now. And I said, well, then you got to go be the bully and go after the better players, and you got to get them to fight you. So it's exciting to see this kid come up the ranks and play now in preseason where guys will step up. And I think the way he plays the game, being physical, he's going to definitely draw some fights throughout the year, and I think that's what the Pats need.
Yeah, agreed. You almost answered my question that I was leading into there is, it's a little more difficult to try and get guys to coax their way in, especially in camp. I happened to go over to the rink for one of the sessions. Reality, not a whole ton of intensity. I remember my first camp as a 16-year-old in the SJHL, there were some like 37 fights in 3 days. Now it's a rarity to see one or two in a camp is making Instagram reels and big highlights. So maybe for you as a dad and a guy that played a tough role, how do you kind of balance that, or not encourage isn't the word, but how do you balance that to go and inflict your style of play?
Well, it's just like your stock, right? The more you can do in life, the more you can block shots, the more you can strip pucks, the more you can hit, the more you can fight. I don't think Braden's really has to fight a lot in his career because he's going to be a power forward. Yep. But it's just one of those things that separates you from the Pews and the Schultz and some of these other kids. So you want to bring that to the game. We're not even talking about fighting. We're just talking about hitting. It's a rarity to see a kid hit out there anymore. And you don't see a lot of these kids because it's just the game's changed.
Yep.
But I still think it's a big part of the game. Guys like me are still coaching in the league, and guys want that. And I think that's what's going to bring a guy like Braden success, and I think that's why he's thriving in environments like this.
I was talking, I forget who I was talking to, a hockey guy. Yeah, I don't know if it was, maybe you were in the conversation as well. But I feel because you have these guys coaching, the Ryan Hodgins of the world, Keller up in Saskatoon now with the contacts when it comes to AAA, yourself, all these guys. It seems, though, a bit that they're starting to hit a little bit more. There's a little more grit than maybe like 5 years ago.
Yeah, well, you're just picking more of those players, right?
Okay.
So I think there's only so many players that could play on the top two lines, and then you got to figure out, okay, how do we get some of these other guys in these other lines that maybe if one of these guys get injured, they can kind of fill
the Swiss Army knife.
Exactly. And I remember I told everybody the story, like my whole career at the beginning of my career, I'm playing against Getzlaff, Perry. They weren't fourth line guys, but when you have Solani on a team like this and you have Korea and those kind of players, they got to fit in somewhere. And they were just the fourth line, and we were probably -3 every game because they just dominated us. But those guys got their chance, and when they got their chance, they pounced on it.
Well, it's a little bit about being different, right? So if everyone's the same, how do you separate yourself? Yeah. So we try to get a little rougher, a little tougher, and then everyone tries to go that length or that way. And then it's about, okay, now we need to build back to speed and skill, and then everyone goes that way. So you're right. I think it's really valuable, especially on junior teams, to be able to find those guys that can slot up and slot down and play it kind of every different way, because you need 4 lines in junior. There's no doubt about it.
You coached Maddox on the provincial team, didn't you?
Yep.
A couple of years ago at the Regina Pat Blues, and yeah, that would have been, your third line guys would have been that. I think when we did the Monday Nooner episode with you years ago, you guys were at a roller hockey tournament or coming back and all that. Is that still big down there as well?
Well, you know what, in the summertime, you try to get the kids to kind of stay away from the ice for, at least two or 3 weeks. But, just talking with Kent Johnson and Bedard and those guys, they just said it's just such a different feel, and it keeps your hands kind of going so that, it gives you a break from the game and something different. But if you still love the game and you want to play it, here's a way to substitute. So, yeah, we always do the big tournament in Anaheim there and the Narch, and it's, it's just incredible to be able to play in something like that with the weather and the ocean right there. It's something special.
Okay, style of game you played. Harder or more nerve-wracking experience before a game, going into an NHL game or the AHL game where you're potentially going to have to battle and there's always the next guy that's trying to make a name for himself?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like the NHL, for the first 5 years, you didn't sleep very much the night before. You didn't really feel comfortable kind of going into the game because you have 18,000 fans that want to see you lose this fight. But I think once you kind of come up with your technique and then you feel comfortable and you get a reputation, then it just, okay, I'm just going to go in there. I'm throwing bombs. There's no defense. Nobody wants to fight you anymore, first of all, because now you fight the right way. The AHL is funny because when I got sent down right towards the end of my career, I had 14 hits in the first period. And when I got on that bus after the game, I was like, holy shoot, I can't play like this.
Right.
Guys are just a step slower. And I was taught as soon as I go on the ice to bring that energy, to be physical. And if I didn't do that, I don't know if I had another shift. So every game, I didn't know if I get 8 shifts, 15 shifts, guys like Mike Keenan loved me and would play me. I was looking at my stats back then, 12, 15 minutes, and I was playing more than, Christian Husilius and Valerie Burry. And I keep showing Braden the score sheet. I go, dude, I wasn't just a grinder in the fourth line. Like, look at my stats. He goes, yeah, for one team, Dad. But so it's just such a different mindset. But I was telling somebody this story the other day. I tried to fight Ty Domi right off the draw when I was 20 years old, and Ty wouldn't go, and I really called him out in front of everybody. He's like, listen, Rook, don't you ever disrespect me again. And I kind of went through that at the end of my career with Luke Gazdic, where I'm in the minors, and he's trying to fight me, and I said, listen, I don't even know who you are, but when you work your way up, I'll fight you, because you have too much to lose. Right. And I told Braden, I said, in camp, when you come to Pat's camp, go look for the 20-year-old, look for the 19-year-old. It's a win-win. If you drop your gloves, that's the hardest part about fighting is dropping your gloves. After that, now your adrenaline takes over. Yeah. And that 19, 20-year-old, he has nothing to gain. And if he loses to you, now you just set the tone for your whole career. So
you played on the Oilers and the Florida Panthers. So the last couple of Stanley Cups, did you have an allegiance anywhere? Or?
Yeah, you know what's funny? I got my brother-in-law over here, Mark, sitting here, and it's a battle in our family because he's a Flames through and through, and my son Braden is just an absolute Oilers fan. And
really,
I think that came with McDavid staying a couple doors down during COVID and shooting pucks with my son and getting spoiled and having that whole network. So, but I really was cheering for Edmonton. I knew the Florida Panthers would probably pull it off. You talk about teams trying to bring that kind of grit to the game. You look at what they got Chucks, they got all those kind of players that, Sam Bennett, just they play the game the right way. They're physical. They keep you off your game. And so I wanted Edmonton deep down to win. I bet on them to win, and they lost. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, McDavid, I'm not sure if he's going to stick around. I think he's probably going to go to Toronto or a place like that and play with Matthews. But
you heard it here first.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, we got to give him a shout out. We're talking playoffs. He's got an NHL playoff goal as well. So he was getting it done in the most important time of the year as well.
It was fun. I think I played more in that playoff series than I did during the season, and it was just a physical series. And what's ironic is that Jonathan Taves is training at my skill center, and I said, hey, do you mind if I could post this? And he goes, listen, Darcy, I don't want nobody to know I'm coming back, and then I'm going to be playing for Winnipeg. And he kind of slipped up. I said, boys, I told all my buddies, he's going to Winnipeg, and they're like, there's no way. So I had a couple side bets where I won some bets saying that he was going to Winnipeg, but it's going to be exciting to see him come back and what he's going to do for hockey in Canada, and hopefully Winnipeg can make a move.
You're so tied to so many guys, like you said, and you're still friends, and a lot of them are in the Scottsdale and Phoenix area, which I think is just a travesty. They didn't get that deal done, kind of by Papago Golf Course or whatever that was in there. But the no state tax thing, where do you land on that? Is that such an advantage for some of these teams, the Floridas, anything in Florida, where Nashville, Vegas?
It is and it isn't. Like, I remember when the Rangers offered me a 3-year deal. I think at that time they were giving me $1.2 million a year, and everybody else is offering me $1 million. So you just kind of know, okay, it's going to cost me this much more in tax. So they're willing to do that. Like McDavid, he would make more in Edmonton than anywhere else. So now if he does a state tax, there's ways around all this stuff. So I think it does play a little bit of advantage. But then if you look at the last 10 years, when the Panthers were there, we couldn't get anybody to come there.
Right.
And we knew there's no state tax. Like, that's why I was playing there, because I'm a grinder. You only need so much money at the end of the day. So I was a grinder, and I needed every dollar that, and that's why.
Teterenko says the same thing.
Oh, dude, it was the best. And I'm like, how does nobody want to play here? Like, literally, we'd practice. Then we were on the golf course. Then we were at the beach for dinner, at La Solis, on the water, on the ocean in the afternoon. It's literally the best. The problem is, you're a nobody there. You play hockey, nobody cares about you. So I kind of wanted to come as a free agent to Canada and be a rock star for a couple of years, and then you realize that's not the best lifestyle either, when you got to explain to the media 20 different cameras why you didn't fight and why you didn't shoot in the power play and why you guys are losing and why the coach is going to get fired, and that doesn't go a long way in the world of sports.
Yeah, and there's always balance, right? There's cost of living come into play, and
the wife,
weather, location, travel. So it's not all as it goes. I remember when I was not coming up through the NHL, but young and having guys, and that was the place that people just went to. Let's go to Florida.
Exactly.
Coming up October 24th in Nipawin. Cool event that you're a part of, along with Marty McSorley, Brian Scrudlin, Corey Cross, who's got great stories. Chris Joseph, Eric Greiba, Steve McIntyre. You guys can chat about that. Jeff Odgers. Just a great event there that you're coming back for.
Yeah, you know what? I think at the end of your career, you look back and what it's really about is just trying to grow the game and help, connect and tell your stories with all these fans that grew up watching you, and a buddy of mine, Justin Hellegaards, he's from my hometown. He played for the Nipawin Hawks, and I remember watching him in Junior A, and he's just like, hey, listen, would you want to come back for this? And I said, 100%. You just tell me the date, the time, and I'll be there. So I think we're going to do a little pickerel and pike fishing, the next day, and just
Tobin.
Yeah, have some fun stories around the fire and getting all these good old Saskatchewan boys together. So come out and support them. I think it's $35 a ticket or $30 a ticket. You can do dinner for another $30, and it all goes towards the Nipawin Hawks.
You sent me this, which is great. Yeah, it's 35 and then it's 60. Get in touch. It's through the Nipawin Hawks up there. But you also sent me this cruise. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, so it's either I was supposed to go to Moose Jaw and watch my kid keep playing here in tryouts, or I got to go on a yacht. That's it's the Ritz-Carlton cruise. It's a private event for Andrea Bocelli, and I think there's about 40 different celebrities on there. Somehow I snuck my way in it. It's $70,000 a person, and Bo Derrick's on the boat. You've seen it, Evander Holyfield, Sugar Ray.
Yeah,
it's just David Foster. But yeah, it's a 5-day cruise. It's a chance of a lifetime.
Chris Tucker.
They needed a few celebrities to go on there, so I got them Shane Doan and John Dorenbos because they backed out last minute, and I said, well, what a fun cruise. I think I should be on this too. And a buddy of mine helped put it together, and it's been sold out for 8 years, and there's actually a lot of Canadians on it. So, September 7th to the 15th, I'll be going to Monaco and Rome and cruising cruising the world.
I went on a cruise in the South Saskatchewan River once. That's that. I want to close on this as a Kamsack, kid, farm boy, Sasky guy. Not to be generic and kind of cheesy, but when you come back and, everyone's harvesting right now and they're getting things done, what do you love about coming back to Saskatchewan?
It's just this, and I just told my wife this the other day, it's just this kind of simple life that, in the U.S., you're trained to kind of work hard and make all this money. And I think when you peel back the layers, we're only on this earth for a short period of time, and it's just about family, it's about friends, it's about experiences, and people here are so genuine. And, my favorite thing to do is go to this Ukrainian co-op here and just talk to the people and buy, sausage. And so it's just the genuineness of all these people and the simple life, and it's so fun every time we get a chance to come back here. And Brock Lesnar's a good buddy of mine now, and we just went to his farm, and what are the odds that he lives 20 minutes from door to door? And we just sat by the fire at night, and his boys were fishing with my boys and
cut up some kubasa.
Totally. We just looked at each other and we just laughed and just said, hey, the world is such a crazy place, but we have this beautiful, and you don't realize until you leave how incredible it is, and you always think the grass is greener on the other side, but I'm so glad I get a chance to have my kid with the Regina Pats and come back and see my parents all the time, and that's what life's about.
Let's hope it works out, and they have a good young team, and it's going to be awesome. Darcy, thanks so much for coming in and doing this.
No, thanks for having me.
Right on. It's a Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com, and we're on 620 CKRM. Season starts tonight. Dallas Cowboys 8.5-point underdog at Philly to take on the defending champs. The Jays, they're off, starting New York tomorrow. How about some high school football tonight? 5:15 right away, Balfour and Johnson, and then Winston, Knoll, and Campbell after that at Leibel. O'Neill, Sheldon Williams, 5:15 at Mosaic, and then after that, the late one, Martin Luther and Tom. Little 9-a-side, 4 p.m., so they're probably into it. Melville's hosting Esterhazy. The Regina Pats won their preseason game yesterday, or they lost, 2-1 in Swift Current. And we talked about it earlier on the clutch performer. Maddox Schultz scored a beauty goal from Liam Pugh. Sign up for the Sports Cage or Insider Report. Sign up today by clicking on Insider Report at sportscage.com for a chance to win. In hour 2, it is for Extreme Hockey and Sport, where they have the price match guarantee. You find a lower price and you're into shopping local, you can go to Extreme Hockey and Sport. They also have Bauer Days coming up next Saturday. More to come on that. Some winning and some celebrities will be in attendance at Extreme Hockey and Sport. RP, that was Darcy Hordichuk. That was great, eh?
Really good. And how well spoken, like really well spoken. Loves to talk about it. You can tell that he's got a huge passion for the game and his son and also his career as well. So awesome. One of those guys you wish you could sit around and hear more from for sure. I'm sure he's got some good tales.
I remember watching him with the Blades in like 90, 98, 99, and he'd sit and he just didn't give a rip, like would go anybody. And then I got to meet him, I guess it'd be 10 years ago now, and get a sense of really how big he is. He's a bigger guy.
Oh yeah. And I can say, I'll say it now. I wasn't as big a fan watching him because he's a year younger than me. So I played against him for most of our minor hockey every second year. So he scared the bejesus out of a lot of us. So when you watched him in the Western League, I was like, I'm good down here in Junior A. I don't need to go up against him. So no, awesome guy, awesome, and forged a heck of a career for himself, and now living the good life in Phoenix.
And like I said, you coached, bantam hockey recently here. Up in last year, you were doing it as well. How much the game has changed, and like the camps.
Yeah, and when we say it's changed, it doesn't always mean that it's changed for the better or the worse. It's changed, and the games evolve, sport evolves. Maybe someone's going to be sitting in this chair 20 years from now talking about how it's this massive battle again and how tough everything is. But really, it's more about speed and moving the puck and pushing the pace of the game, and you don't see as much of that physical initiative anymore. But that's why I think those guys become valuable again, because if you can be different on a team, if your opponent only wants to play it one way and you can go out there and disrupt that, then you're a huge value to your own team.
Like you said, the Swiss Army knife, and that's in any sport
for sure. 100%.
Football, basketball. I don't know about baseball as much about that. I'm a big Blue Jay fan though lately.
Well, and we asked about Edmonton and Florida. Florida, to me, Florida's biggest strength is they can play it any way you want it. You want to make it a track meet, we'll play it. You want to take it to the streets, we'll play it. All right, so who goes special teams back and forth, we'll play that way too. So
and Bruce Boudreau last week I think he got into it more at the Royal than when he was on with us here. But he said, he did talk about it here too. How Mark Stone with Vegas, you're going to see him on the third line and watch the year he has,
right? Because
that's where he should be. Like Brad Marchand, third line in Florida, like excelled. It
found
was
new
great.
legs again, going from playing 22 minutes a night to 14 minutes a night and having good matchups.
Who was it, Davidorov or whatever? I took him last year in the playoffs too for Vegas. Is going to have a heck of a year.
Yep.
They bang out. Yeah, that was a great chat with Darcy Hordichuk, who hails from Kamsack, Saskatchewan. Let's go out and talk to Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs Golf Course quickly. Brian, we had a sprinkle here. It hasn't been the greatest day to golf, let's be honest, but we're going to look beyond that because there's still lots of golf left. And what about people that are still maybe looking for a last minute, a late season corporate or family or whatever kind of tournament?
It's funny you mention that because we do have a couple of those coming up in the coming weeks because summer holidays are over and people are back at work and they can now get all this done. So yes, that is definitely happening, and we are definitely available for that. And like you mentioned the weather today. The one big thing about today is the wind. I mean, people will play in just about anything, but they hate the wind. But we still had probably 20 or 25 golfers out on the golf course today fighting that wind. It was crazy.
It starts again, Monday, even Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, when we're looking great weather here. I'm going to talk about it till I'm blue in the face. September is my favorite month to golf in Saskatchewan. So people can call 7 days out, take advantage of the bookings and the specials there.
Yeah, that's right. And we should mention that Monday and Wednesday, every Monday and Wednesday, $39 for ladies and seniors. That's men over 60. We should also mention that as of next Monday, our late twilight, which is only $22, is moving to 5 o'clock start to accommodate the lateness of the early sunset that's causing problems for people trying to get 9 holes in. And, of course, our early twilight is $38 at 3 o'clock.
And people coming in for the Rider game next Saturday against Montreal, looking good to golf there. Bring your sticks. Take advantage of it. Brian, how do they book and what's the number to call?
All you have to do is give us a call at 306-543-5050, and you can book online at flowingspringsgolf.com.
Right on. Thank you so much, Brian. We'll talk to you again next week. It's Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs Golf Course here in just outside Regina. That's hour 2 in the books of the Sports Cage on this Thursday for Access Communications. We're going to start it in hour 3. We're going to talk to Glen Suitor. We're streaming at sportscage.com and always on 620 CKRM. Here we are, the last hour on this Thursday. Thanks for making time, whether you're watching through YouTube and sportscage.com or the streams or on 620 CKRM. I'm not sure how the harvesting would go today with the weather the way it is, but hopefully things are going well out there. Hour 3, Glen Suitor is going to be here right away. We're going to have some more from the Riders coming up. And then our Prairie Golf Gems. Today we're looking at Harbor Golf Course, which I found out stays open later than a lot of golf courses, and a great track there. So Ryan Pollock is with me in the co-host chair today. Colson's on the other side, and today it's the quest for the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles, and let's be honest, probably not the Dallas Cowboys. But I asked this in hour 1, and you weren't here. Dallas Cowboy fans, the same as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan?
I was ready to take the words right out of your mouth there, for sure. A little bit delusional, maybe, in the sense of we're always
in it.
This is our opportunity. Our guys are better than your guys. And then it just doesn't seem to work that way. So, and tough sledding, obviously, with the history there of a long time between true successes and tough go.
-8.5 tonight for the Eagles. Should be an interesting. And then tomorrow, I don't know if I like the Chiefs and Chargers in Brazil, like opening week. Like if I'm I don't know whose home game that is here. Let me just pull that up, because if I'm home, it is at the Chargers. If I'm a diehard Chargers fan, I'm like, no, first game of the year against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Put like in week 7 against the Jacksonville Jaguars or something.
No, exactly. So
it's interesting.
It's awesome. Opening weekend, though, it's going to be fantastic.
Let's get talking some CFL as well with Glen Suitor.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sports Cage. Brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
Hey, Glenn, I before we get to CFL, I did mention this on Tuesday that I was going to bring this up with you, because I know you're such a massive supporter of the U-Sport football. But the Regina Rams Calgary game, where we got 6 seconds left. We talked to Marshall Erichsen, the running back with 4 tutties in hour 1. I've never seen it or heard of it. 6 seconds, 9-point deficit. Calgary scores, 2-point convert, and then they get the rouge. With Erichsen was a great interview. He talked about how he would play that differently last time. But Glenn, I don't know. Have you ever seen that?
I have not, and but I'm not surprised. I mean, the coaching and the quality of play in U Sports continues to go arrow up. I mean, it really does. You guys know I spend a lot of time at the beginning of the year up at the U of S and do the Dogs Breakfast every year and get a chance to see how they're running their college football program and all the support that the local community gives them in Saskatoon. And the quality of coaching, when I see the combine and I see the quality of players that are going to the combine out of U Sports, some of which are going to play down south almost immediately, it just keeps arrow up and the quality becomes better. They're more pro ready. Not that every kid goes to college and plays college football to become a pro football player, but if that is their aspiration, if that is their dream, then you're seeing more and more pro-ready guys that are coming out of college, coming out of U Sports, that are ready to start in the CFL. Mm-hmm. I mean, 15, 20 years ago, it was almost unheard of that you came out of college and then went right in as a starter. in Canadian football. It was almost unheard of. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing these great high-quality games, excellent quarterbacking. More and more Canadian quarterbacks play in both leagues as time goes on because of the great coaching that's going on in U Sports.
Yeah, the Rams are their home opener tomorrow, 7 p.m. against the University of Alberta Golden Bears at Liable Field. So I like it. The smaller stadium. It'll be good. Everyone can get cozy there. We can all bring blankets and Afghans, cuddle together. You had a question for Glenn.
Yeah. I think early in the year, Suits, we may have even been on here talking about how much of a absolute battle the West Division was going to be between Saskatchewan and Calgary on the rise, and Winnipeg still at the top of the mountain until someone knocks them off, and BC obviously with Rourke and showing like they're on the move to take the next step, and Edmonton looks to be better with a coaching change and likely to get a few more wins, and it really hasn't turned out to be that way. It looks like Saskatchewan and Calgary at the top have really solidified themselves. What's interesting to me is there's a real possibility that both teams sit at 9-3 after this weekend, and looking ahead to the final 6, 14-4 may not be enough to get it done for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to win the division, with them having that lost head-to-head series with Calgary. And who would have thought coming into the year that 14 wins could potentially get you second place?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the importance of those season series. And, the Riders own a few of them, but not the Calgary season series. So, and that's the team they're fighting with, obviously. So, it's going to go down to the wire. When you sent me that, RP, I looked at the remaining schedule of both teams, and they're very, very similar. I mean, both teams have Montreal one more time. Both teams have BC. Calgary has BC twice, and they're going to be motivated for that crossover spot.
October 11th.
Yes.
The Stamps.
The Stamps have the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto, and the Riders have Toronto as well. So, and Winnipeg 2 more times. So, you're looking at very similar schedules. Both teams have a bye, one more bye before they're, go into the playoffs. So, this is going to go down to the wire, and the Riders know one thing. They have to get home field and the bye to the final. They have to stay the at least a point ahead of Calgary. Tie doesn't get it done for them. So, and you're right. It might come down. You might need to win 15 games.
If you're the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you're in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers coaching room, dressing room right now. What do you think the game plan is for Saturday?
Well, I mean, they're better at home. They're going to have that edge in the snap count, as we talked about going into Labor Day, that the Riders have. They're going to have the fact that Trevor Harris is going to have to communicate through, signals, hand signals, and, receivers, again, are going to have to look at the ball being snapped, and that changes their timing. So that there's an advantage for the home team in this matchup because of how great the fans are in this matchup in both stadiums. I mean, it's another sellout, 12 or 13 in a row for Winnipeg, and they're going to be loud. They're going to make it hard on Trevor. So that's the edge that Winnipeg has. They still have the talent to be a tough out. You know that. You saw it in person. I mean, it went right down to a pick 2 to actually win that game, or we're going to overtime at the very least. If I'm the Bombers, though, do what if you're really any team and you're playing against the top teams in the league, do what you do best. And for the Bombers, it's Brady Oliveira on offense. Try to grind it out and be more physical on the line of scrimmage. That neutralizes the Rider pass rush, one of the best in the league. The Rider pass rush, that in Calgary, those are the 2 best lines in the league. And when you run at them, you take tremendous pass rushers and you're telling them, you guys love to get after the quarterback. You love to pin your ears back. You know what we're going to do? We're going to make you tackle our big running back, and we're going to make you tackle him all game long. So even if the Bombers have to punt a couple of times because, Brady only gets 4-2, so what? Keep grinding it. If I'm Winnipeg, I do what I do best, which is start with Brady Oliveira pounding it up in the line of scrimmage. Get him out in the open with those swing passes and get him in one-on-ones with linebackers. I'm not to say that means they automatically win, but it's what they do best. Do what you do best. If the other team takes it away, then you can move your chess pieces.
I'll tell you what's an interesting about the Winnipeg Stadium. Not called Winnipeg Stadium no longer, but you know what I'm getting at. Suits, you've been through it as a player, been there as a broadcaster. The noise level of that stadium affects everything you do. It makes it harder to coach on the sidelines. So when the Riders' offense is on field and that place is going nuts, the defense literally can't be sitting on the sidelines talking to each other. It is that loud. It disrupts everything, and it wears on you for 3 hours, and it is like you're at a rock concert playing inside your brain from the time that ball gets kicked off till the final gun, and it takes a different type of energy out of you. I remember standing on the sidelines, never taking a snap or doing a snap and leaving that field tired just because it is constantly on top of you. So it makes things very difficult in every aspect of the game.
Yeah, well, no, it does. I mean, I remember, breaking the huddle and having Richie Hall standing right beside me and asking me what the defense was because he didn't hear it in the huddle. And we turned and talked to each other and couldn't hear each other standing like arm's length away from each other. So imagine that, standing like an arm's length away from your teammate and then having to signal the coverage. It is that crazy. I mean, early days of BC Place was like that too, when you were on the road and that, it was 50,000 going nuts and you just couldn't hear anything. So it's all physical hand signals and communication without talking. That's why veteran teams and guys that have been playing together for some time, they handle that stuff a little bit better than a younger team. But yeah, that's the challenge. And, there is also, when the Bombers lose the first in this matchup, you got to match that intensity coming out of the gate. And the short week, guys. I mean, I just did Zooms with both Edmonton and Calgary. That's my game this weekend in their rematch, and it's almost like this survival of the fittest type of weekend. This intensity of Labor Day. And now, by the fourth quarter, boy, you hope you have a lead in the second game going into the fourth because you're running out of gas. You really are. It's a short week. It's a physical 2 weeks, most physical of the regular season. And I wish you could do it every week. You'd be a very good team if you could bottle that every week.
Right.
But it's human nature.
See Dalton Schoen back out, just to your point that he gets back in for
Ontario Wilson.
Yeah, gets back. Yeah, so I mean there'll be some changes there in the matchup as well.
But we got a week of a Joe under our belts too, right? So, okay, what do you think, Glenn? Is this the weekend that you maybe give Campbell Fair a chance, kick him into the fire, and let him boot some balls?
Yeah, I think I would, if it were me, make the change. It's sounding a little bit like Corey Mace will not. I don't know what you guys have heard today, but as of yesterday, I was hearing that it probably is Brett again. But, that may change. You see how these couple of days of practice go. But for me, it's time to see him. I would not cut Brett. I wouldn't trade Brett. I would put him on the 1 game injured so he's protected. Don't put him on the practice roster because another team could pick him up. And then you have to put him on the roster immediately to keep him. That would confuse things again. So, I would put him on the injured list for a game or two, tell him to keep ready, stay mentally strong, keep working on the game, and be ready. We might need you at the end of the year. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, I know we're trying to be careful because Brett's such a great guy and a great human being, and he's done it before. So we're all sort of expecting him to come out of this. But I think there's a message that from Corey Mace that he's on the border of right now messing with in the locker room. If every player in there thinks they have a half a season to work out of bad football or inconsistent football, let's put it that way, whether you're a DB or a linebacker or lineman or whatever, you don't have half a season. You don't have half a season to work out your problems. You have probably 3 games maximum. And if you're still... Go ahead,
Sorry.
Barney.
I was going to say, if he didn't just have a kid, the Rough Rider Foundation trip to Mexico, it'd have been like, hey, Brett, get out of town for a bit. Just get away from the game.
Well, it makes it an interesting thing because, I'm a huge Brett Lauther fan, as you alluded to. I think he's one of the best human beings I've ever had the pleasure of being around. I still call him a friend. But the kicking position is interesting because you're the only guy, essentially, right? I know they've brought in Campbell now, but essentially you're the only guy. If it's a D lineman that's having some challenges, or it's a defensive back having some challenges, or even a running back, there's some depth at the position where you can quite easily look and say, hey, we're going to sit you down for a week, get refreshed, maybe get healthy if something's bothering you, nagging you. We've got 5 other guys ready to go that get inserted in. Yeah. Makes it a little more difficult when it's essentially one guy.
It does, but they have another guy.
Yep, now they do. Yep.
He's been practicing. Yeah, and now it's a message that we're not getting rid of you. We're not cutting you. We may still need you. You're a grown man. You understand why. And Brett knows. He knows this is not what he wants. He knows he's been inconsistent. He knows if the coach, he wouldn't be surprised by it. We know that. So, I just think Corey starts to send a message to the team that there may be different rules for different guys. If he's set, let's say he's already, we don't know this, like you said, RP, maybe there's been an O-lineman that he took out of the starting lineup and didn't tell anybody. He just did it, and we said this will be the change, and we moved on and didn't really talk about it. Maybe there was a performance issue and he made moves after 2 or 3 games. Well, if he does that with one player, you got to do it with the other players too.
I don't believe that. Personally, I mean, I'm like different. You know what? Different rules for different guys. I think. Well,
the only player that might be different in that regard is the quarterback. But again, that's another discussion. I don't think you can. And maybe saying different rules for different guys is too broad. But Brett's had 3 or 4 weeks here to work his way through this.
Yeah.
And yes, he's had some personal issues. And it's the responsibility of the head coach to put the best players on the field. And if you're starting to change your strategy, game strategy and management, because you're not completely confident in your kicker or any player for that matter, to me, it's time to make a change.
Great environment for him to go answer the bell this week. Toughest environment.
That's what I thought last week, and then he missed the...
Yeah, well, it's...
Yes.
Redo?
Exactly.
Mulligan. Yeah.
Mulligan.
I love it. I hope he goes 5 for 5 or something this week in a tough environment. Yeah, I know. And I know we all are.
I think everybody...
we're just...
Hey... We've had this question on the text line a number of times, and then Kelly asked it again today, and I'm going to ask you. The face mask call is kind of where it's stemming from last week. He basically wants to know, he's in the dark on what can and cannot be challenged, and then when does the eye in the sky play into it?
Well, first of all, any sort of rough play, roughing the passer, rough play,
ripping a guy's head off.
Ripping a guy's head off. The command center can bring the input at that point. And we saw a few weeks ago, about a month ago, we saw the horse collar tackle in Saskatchewan that wasn't called on the field. It was at Mosaic. It wasn't called on the field by the on-field officials, and the replay center saw it communicate it to the head official, and then they threw the flag after the fact. So based on that, then that I haven't talked to the league about that specifically, that one call and the face mask miss, but I would suggest that should have been called from the replay center if that's what they're going to do. I don't think they should be doing that, to be honest. I think it disrupts the game too much, and we shouldn't be calling penalties from Toronto when you're looking at slow motion replays quickly and things like that. It disrupts the flow of the game. So let's let the guys on the field call it, and if they miss one, they miss one. They're human, no problem. We'll move on. Yeah.
To your knowledge, and not specifically in this case, but to your knowledge, would the command center have access to all those replays? Because the TSN angle that showed at field level was as clear as day. It was non-debatable.
If you're watching the stream, watch the culprit here. He's looking around like, okay, where'd the flag come from?
Right. So that's what I just wondered is if did the play get in before maybe they had access to that. I mean, there's no dispute. You see that, and if your job's to make that call into the stadium, it's undisputable right there.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what happened. I mean, I don't know the timing of when we showed that angle, but the angle on the stream right now is clear and obvious. There is no debate on what that was a rough play call, face mask, and that's where I'll check though, and for Tuesday have the official wording of the league office on that. But I think we're going down a slippery slope as a league when the replay center can at some points call penalties and cannot call penalties. I mean, anytime they miss a roughing the passer, we stop the game so the replay center can take a look at it and say, yeah, there was one, let's throw a penalty flag. Or sometimes they'll look at it again and say, no, the penalty flag was thrown in error, let's pick that up. I mean, we want to get it right. We want to get it close to right. But as I've told you guys before, when I sat in the rules committee and listened to the rules committee talk and debate different calls like pass interference or roughing the passer, and I would hear, they would all look at the same video, and I would hear the room split in what they thought the penalty should have been or should not have been. And when you have the rules committee split, then really when you show replays, all you're doing is giving another person and their perspective another opinion into this discussion. So to me, let's go back to the officials on the field call the game. If you're in or out of bounds, in the end zone, not in the end zone, yes, we can go to replay for those because they're cut and dry. Everyone can see the foot is either in or isn't. So that's cut and dry. I mean, there's no interpretation there. And I think when we get into interpreting rules and then we add another opinion from the command center, even with a couple of better angles, we're going down a slippery slope, and it ruins the TV show, and that's what I'm concerned most about.
I'm with you, Suits. I think it's a game played by humans. It's ref by humans, and at times there's going to be mistakes from everyone involved, and I think there's a place where replay can interject. But to me, it's in all sport. I think it's become too much, and I'd be just as content that it went against us this time. It's probably going to go for us next time.
The three of us are all married.
Yeah,
we've said it. How many times have we said we all make mistakes?
Yeah, I don't want instant replay in any of our arguments or previous conversations.
Sometimes I would love that. I just wish the Alexa was recording all the time to go back to be like, hey, no, you.
Could you guys imagine that if you could go back?
I'd love it.
And replay the argument. Oh my God, it would be, no, let's not
the
even
argument. It's what started the argument. I feel that we're right more times than not.
My wife would just play a continuous clips of how many times she's told me what we're doing Saturday, and I still ask, what do we have going on this weekend?
And my wife always goes back on trips that I took 10 years ago. But yet you can't remember where the car keys are.
I mean, talk about having two different perspectives on the same reason for a fight to start.
Exactly.
I don't care how many times you show it or replay it. Her perspective guarantee you that.
I might be going to Western Pizza to watch a football game. Awesome. I don't think I'm going home now. I'm just kidding. Let's close on Calgary's an 8.5-point favorite as I look at Sports Select here in Edmonton. The rematch. Tough sledding there. Like what would Edmonton have to do? Would Vernon Adams have to get food poisoning?
Yeah, don't let Vernon Adams off the bus. Yeah. No, hey, I think the Elks to win have to figure out a Rankin leak veer offense. I know you can't change everything you do right out of the gate, but Cody can run well enough. If they don't lean big time on Rankin, Calgary's sweeping this series. I mean, and I you can shut one guy down, but if you play two backs and you can put them both on the field at the same time, which I think they can, you've got two different weapons to go there, and you just run a bunch of that run and read, RPO stuff, and just get those, run the whole and stay on the field and keep Vernon Adams on the bench. If the Elks can do that, they can upset Calgary, but it'll be an upset. That is a heck of a good defense right now. Calgary's defense is outstanding. Hey, one more thing, guys, before we go. NFL starting. I'm going to be watching tonight. Can I just one more time repeat what I say every time at this time of year? We don't have to choose between leagues. No. You don't have to like one and hate the other. Let's just enjoy football. I'll be watching tonight. You guys will be watching tonight. It's a fantastic game. The nuance is different in a lot of ways, but I'll be watching NFL football year two.
Love it, Suits.
High school football starting around Saskatchewan. Great entertainment. The Rams game tomorrow. Hilltops and Thunder. An absolute slobber knocker Saturday at Mosaic Stadium. It's great. Just football. We're all here for football.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. All right. Suits, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week, bud.
Thank you, gentlemen.
See you, Suits.
That's press coverage with Glen Suitor for Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090. I said this the other day, but get your furnace tuned up.
Yeah,
right?
It's common.
It's going down to 1 degree. Was it tomorrow or something again? Yeah, if your furnace is maybe on the fritz, call Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Jeffrey on the YouTube chat. Again, I like it. He's a Stamps fan, so he kind of gives it to us, and we can take it. He said, it's clearly a penalty, but what Rider folks need to get over it. What are you looking for? An apology? An extra draft pick? Not a bad idea. This has happened to every team, every season. Best D in the CFL, Stamps could set the record fewest TDs allowed in the season. And then he's like, how are you kidding here? All the experts pick Stamps for dead last. No, a lot of people did pick. I'm not an expert.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm just a guy here talking athletics for 3 hours a day. There was a lot of change over there, so I didn't expect a lot from the Stamps, but I'm not in the expect, and no. I'm not the jock sniffer that knows every single, whatever. There's a lot of change over there. What they're doing is awesome. Reminds me of the Riders last year, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're a fringe CFL fan, it's very quarterback driven. So when they get Vernon Adams, they're taking a step in the right direction.
True.
So no one's going to call me an expert, but at that point, I never thought they were headed wrong. But does Jeff also know that we were on a sports talk show, and these are things that we need to talk about as elements of the game and different calls? And
thanks for listening, Jeff. Yeah. Thanks for watching, Jeff. Keep them coming.
Yeah,
right. We can agree to disagree and be friends and all that. Maybe have a beer someday. SportsCage, we're streaming right there where Jeff's watching through YouTube at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. NFL season starts tonight. Dallas Cowboys, Philly. Dallas an 8.5 point underdog. 47.5 is the over under there. Jays are off today. Starting New York. Huge series tomorrow. We got high school football in Regina. It started at 5:15. At Libel, it was Johnson, Balfour, and then over at Mosaic, it's Sheldon Williams and O'Neill. And then the late games at Libel, it's Campbell, Winston Knoll and Tom Martin Luther, 7:30 at Mosaic. A little 9-a-side started at 4 o'clock. Shout out, though, in Melville, hosting Esterhazy. Regina Pats lost to the Swift Current Broncos in preseason hockey yesterday, but Maddox Schultz scored a beauty of a goal. Pass from Liam Pugh. And don't forget to sign up for the SportsCage Insider Report. Sign up today by clicking on Insider Report at sportscage.com for your chances to win. Couple minutes here. We still got Prairie Golf Gems coming up. RP's here for a couple more minutes. Kate, let's and I like it. You're not gonna with your heart here, but prediction time in Winnipeg.
Ooh, yeah, it's a tough one because I won't pick it with my heart. If I want the Riders to win. I'm not gonna. I don't think I need to preface that with being from where I am and my background with the team, but it is a tough place to go, and recent history has told us that it's essentially a split game. We win at home and they win at home. I don't think Winnipeg is the Winnipeg of the past couple of years. I still think they're trying to find their feet a little bit and have made some changes. This is a long-winded answer, but so I don't think you go in there and they just run roughshod over you like sometimes. But I think it comes down to a tight game, and my brain tells me that Winnipeg wins at home in the Badger Bowl. A close one. Could be literally down to a final minute, just like here. It was tight here, and I could see it playing out as a similar game. But what I will say is I believe the Riders have overtaken Winnipeg as the most prepared team in the CFL. I think that their coaching staff does a tremendous job of preparing them for not only just the in-game side of it, but everything that surrounds these games. They'll go in there level-headed and ready to compete. There's no doubt.
Too bad we don't have suits still on, because Mark, good question. Maybe next week, message in. He says, what would have happened? Jeffrey would love this. What would have happened if Ouellette would have got hurt when his helmet was ripped off? The coach should be allowed to throw a flag on the penalty. I don't know. It seems like it's kind of a case-by-case basis a bit. Thanks for coming in again today.
Absolutely.
Always awesome.
I know coming on.
Pulled you off the golf course.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. Pulled me out of budgeting.
We still have Prairie Golf Gems coming up. A Harbor Golf Course. Absolute beauty place to play. And do they stay? You'll catch it here. They stay open later than everyone else. It is the SportsCage, the home of the Riders, the home of local sports. Maz and Sharky with you tomorrow live from Libel Field. We're streaming at sportscage.com. Another episode of Prairie Golf Gems here. It's brought to you by Flooring Superstore in Regina. Trent Dickin and his team, over 20 years in business. Cash and carry prices, tough to beat if you're a do-it-yourselfer. If not, they can find someone, they can do it, put in any kind of flooring you need. And if you do have an insurance claim, you go through them, no problem there. You don't have to go through where your contractor wants to. So Flooring Superstore in Regina. Again, another one this week. Harbor Golf Club. It's famous in Saskatchewan. HarborGolfClub.com. If you've never been on the website, go check it out. You'll be pleasantly surprised, as was I. Amber Holland is joining us from the Harbor Golf Club. I'm looking at the website here, Amber. Again, it's so weird as a golfer in this province and a guy that's lived in Saskatoon and Regina. I've never played it. But good job on the website, the flyovers and all that, because it looks spectacular.
Yeah, we don't, we get a lot of people that are like, hey, didn't know that kind of course existed in southern Saskatchewan. So, yeah, on the shores of Lake Diefenbaker is kind of our tagline, which it really is. You have a lot of great views of the lake, and we have some challenging holes, and we have some easy holes. But yeah, it's a great place to come, especially southern Saskatchewan. You don't have to drive too far from either Regina, Moose Jaw, or Saskatoon, and you're in a pretty good place to play some golf. For sure. It's 18 holes. I'm sure, like all courses in Saskatchewan this year, because we had so much snow last year, probably it's been in really good shape all year. Yeah, pretty good shape. We're for the most part, it's stayed pretty good for us. We did, as always, we're kind of in this little gap the last few years where rain has been not the best in our area. But we have pretty good irrigation, so we keep up. But yeah, it wintered really well, and our greens, tee to green is usually pretty good.
I'm looking again at the website here. Now, what would be like, is there like a signature hole?
Yes, hole 15. Yeah, so it's a short little par 3. Basically, you're teeing off, kind of a blind tee off, which I know a lot of people don't really like that. But short par 3 over the trees onto the green, and you're basically from the tee box. You can look back. You can look out over onto the lake. You can look back kind of towards the golf course, look back into the town of Elbow, see the iconic elevator that we still have there. So it's kind of the best spot to get a feel for the area.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That is awesome. Is it, so now we're into September here. I think September is the best month to golf in Saskatchewan. Doesn't matter where you go. What can you tell people that are still, wanting to come and play? And like you said, it's such a short drive, like pretty easy to get on during the week. And then what about weekends?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, we're probably one of the courses where, we have our moments. Weekends, there are still a lot of weekend warriors that come out here. Plus, we have a lot of people that have, seasonal trailer sites or cabins so weekends can be a bit more difficult, but weekdays, right now, you probably could phone and get most days. And for us, too, once the leaves start to turn, and once you get that backdrop of the lake behind, again, if you're not too worried about whether you score for a golf game, but you just love to go out and spend a day out on a pretty nice place, it's definitely a good place to be. You guys do get a lot of people traveling, and I think it's more in the summer. I've heard of a lot of people, they load up a bus out of Saskatoon or Regina and they go out. You guys must do a lot of corporate events? Yeah, not too bad. Finding the last 2 years, some of those have been not as, it's a little harder for people to kind of rally the troops and commit to that. But we do run some tournaments, and we do have some in September. So we tend to be heavier in tournaments in June and September. But yeah, lots of opportunity for that. If people were looking to do a corporate event or even a fundraiser, we can always help out with that. And I think the other thing for us too is anybody that's just wanting to golf, public can book a week out here. So a lot of other courses in the city, you're looking at the 3 days out before you can book a tee time. But for us, if you're thinking you want to book, you just look a week ahead and any public can book.
All the amenities out there, what can you tell us about, the restaurant and all that? And then if people maybe don't have a seasonal site, is there anywhere for people to stay?
Yeah, for sure. So, our restaurant is open 7 days a week, pretty much right up until end of season, so kind of September. Our golf course usually does stay open past Thanksgiving. We don't always have the restaurant open then every day, usually only Wednesdays to Sunday. There is, if people are looking to stay, we have Sarah's Cove Condo, which we partner with and do some stay-in-plays as well. It's people put their private condos into a rental pool, and you can rent out those condos. We also have a couple motel hotels and one of our RV places that neighbors into town. They also have a couple like cabin-like things too to rent. So, all of the stuff's on our website under kind of get to know the area under I think our About page. So there's lots of opportunity to kind of fit your schedule and what you want to do.
I like that fact that you usually stay open longer than Thanksgiving. That's good. That's good for me to know. I can bring my own sandwich. The restaurant doesn't need to be open. I'm good. I'm good putting like old school when I was a junior. Yeah, maybe making a click sandwich. Okay, and then rates. Do they stay? The rates stay the same all year for you guys?
No, we usually have a spring rate and a fall rate. I was going to talk to our golf ops people before I got on them with you, but usually we do a pretty decent spring or fall rate. That's usually, I think it's around like $50 card included for the 18 holes. So we usually start that here in a couple weeks and right until the end of the season. So
right on.
Pretty reasonable to come on out and play.
Right on. And then, like you said, people can book online and they can find out more as those rates come out. Well, Amber, this has been great. Again, if people are wondering, harborgolfclub.com, and right away you can see the beauty of this course. Thanks for doing this today, Amber.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. And yeah, if, look for it. Let me know when you're coming out. I prefer to get out of the office and go play around.
I'll bring a sandwich for you too.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great.
Thanks to Trent Dickin and his team at Flooring Superstore, sponsor of our Prairie Golf Gems this year. September is the best month to golf in Saskatchewan, if you ask me. I absolutely love it. So hopefully we'll have a few more of these coming your way. It's the Sports Cage. We are the home of local sports in Saskatchewan. Streaming at sportscage.com, through YouTube there, and of course always on 620 CKRM.